When are you going to get married? Babies? When are you two going to get married? I don't know. When did you last poop? That's a little personal. You started it. And then once you're married, when are you two having baby? And once the baby is there, the questions switch to when the baby will be getting a little brother or sister. And once you have two, they still keep going. I have multiple daughters. People are constantly talking to us about trying again, so we can get a boy. Even strangers. It is absurd. Plus it isn't like, even if that was what we wanted, it is any more likely, and we are good with whatever gender, then they will try to convince you. Apparently as the father it is supposed to be super important to me. We keep trying until a boy comes, and people seem put off by the fact that I don't care. People are just nosy loudmouths. Literally a week after our honeymoon my mum started asking me when my wife and I are having kids. I can tell you every time we have sex. If you like, don't be rude. I just want to know when I can get the spare room ready for babysitting. We had sex last night, by the way. Stop it. And this morning. She's not asked about kids since. My husband and I don't want kids. I was kind of surprised when I got the "when are you guys having kids" line of shit from a childhood friend. She didn't accept that we weren't going to have kids and insisted I would change my mind. I'm 30 and have several legitimate private reasons for not wanting kids. Simply saying I don't want kids should be enough. I'm not going to explain myself. Nothing wrong with this, just needs to be discussed with your partner. I'm in my early 30s and am friends with an older couple. They're in their late 40s and enjoy the double income no kids lifestyle. It sucks that having kids is seen as the default, and if you don't want them, you're forced to defend that stance. There are tons of reasons to not want kids, and frankly, not many reasons to want them. Edit. I guess I'm not expressing my thoughts clearly. I don't think the default should be every single person should procreate. Obviously if no one did we wouldn't exist, but everyone doing it doesn't make much sense either. Overpopulation can be a big problem. Especially in a modern societal context, it shouldn't be the default that everyone has kids. I tell people my wife has an IUD, so not anytime soon. Some folks get uncomfortable about that, but they started it. A friend of mine had his tubes tied. He enjoys telling people that they are incapable of having kids. If that question is asked to a couple and they happen to be struggling to conceive, it can be really hurtful to the couple. Some friends of mine are in that situation and I can see it hurt them when it's asked. This is why I'll never understand people asking that question. Like, how do you know we are not already trying? And even if we're not, why is it your business? My wife and I got this quite a bit since we dated for 6.5 years. I'd tell them the honest truth. When her mother died she was terminally ill and not terribly fond of me. Not the sort of thing you want to plan a wedding around. That, and she joked about coming on our honeymoon. So we waited her out. You made the right choice. Getting married is a thing for you too. It shouldn't have to be for anyone else's sake. I get this question all the time. Girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years and we are happy as can be. Every single time someone finds that out we get asked, so when are you guys getting married? When did you last poop? 6 years ago. Then you are full of shit. The first one, you have 3 major questions to go through. When are you getting married? When are you having a baby? When are you having another baby? Or if you never get married then they get stuck at #1. Easy. Hold up, you also forgot when are you getting a house? And which school are you sending them to? When are you going to retire? When are you going to die already? So when are you breaking up? Now tell people we are married. No one asked when you're getting married, when you already are. Now I get asked when did you get married? I can't keep that lie straight, but I don't care. It's rare you get asked that twice anyway. So when I talk to people I say my husband instead of my boyfriend when necessary. And to people that knew he was my boyfriend ask, oh, when did you get married? Again, I just make up a date and not let them make a big deal out of it. It's relieving to not get asked all the time. I love the idea of you making up radically different dates every time you are asked. I like how in NZ it's more common to use the term partner rather than boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, wife. It works whether you're married or not, and whether you're straight or LGBT. You don't have to reveal that information just by referring to them. That's nice. In America I feel like saying partner gives the connotation that you're LGBT and many people don't want to be identified as such. Marriage has been redefined to be pretty religious though. Not sure that excuse works anymore. You just need a marriage license, 2 IDs, a witness, and an officiant. Doesn't have to be ordained. Just certified by the state. More like marriage. Oh no, we don't believe in notaries. More like, since you put it this way, marriage is meaningless, so why bother? I always wonder why some people have such density, tactlessness, and boundary issues. Or how they can accuse, why aren't you married yet? I have always been a personal believer in dating for a long time before marrying. Divorce is expensive. Why don't we date for 5 to 6 years first to make sure we can last and tolerate each other? And your dad goes to the hooker next. It's a local joke. It's none of their damn business. It's like folks asking me where my parents are really from when I'm in Europe. Shit gets old quick. It's not even the same. Is it rude to say where is your family from? Or what's your ethnic heritage? Asking strangers, yeah, that's weird and rude. But asking people you know and are familiar with it, I don't think that's a bad thing. No, if it would be funny or not, probably not, but this makes me think of a comic idea. Instead of the couple not being married, the stranger asks about marriage and the couple says, oh, we've been married for 3 years now. Then the woman smiles and says, oh, that's fantastic. So when are you having a baby? And the couple says, we have 2 kids and are planning to have 1 more. Then the woman has more of a panic smile. She says, oh, okay, that's good. So when she visibly has cold sweats, UHH. So when the couple stand there with smug grins, they got married and had kids, just to spite people when asked. This reaction is super common, but I don't really get why couples get upset by this question. It's just a boilerplate small talk question. They might as well ask about the weather, because the current generation, the millennials right, is actually terrified of taking on the burdens of maturity and commitment, so they want to change expectations instead of meeting them. I have been with my boyfriend for almost 7 years now, and my mum has taken to telling people I'm a hippie and I may never get married, which neither is true. I think she's more sick if answering that question than I am. I'm gonna do this, except say, how long ago was your menopause? It really strikes at the person's age. The father with 3 boys, I get the exact same questions regarding when we will be trying again for a girl. And I never really know what to say. We done. I wanted 2 kids, wife wanted 4. Our 3rd son was born. We both decided we didn't want to go through the baby stages again. I got the surgery done almost 2 years ago now. I do understand that 1 child is at least $250k to raise, right? These aren't toys, people. That's really not hard to understand. You were a child once. Were you a toy that was just produced so the Lego house set could be complete? No. You were hard to raise, and it was probably confusing for the parents if you were there first. So don't ask someone who has multiple daughters to try to pump out a male like these are toys that are mass produced. I get this all the time as well with 4 daughters, and people constantly ask if we are still trying for the boy. No, we are not. We wanted 4 children, no matter the gender, and we are extremely happy. Yeah, I think parents deciding that the number of kids they have is right for them, and they don't want to add another is a very reasonable thing, just like not wanting any in the first place. It is a big deal. They aren't accessories. I was always of the opinion that other people's choices in that regard were not my business in any way. Whatever works for you and your family is what you should do. Plus, I just don't get asking people I barely know personal questions, as if it is small talk. It is one thing if it is someone you are close to like your parent, though still not great, but when it is strangers or acquaintances I'm just baffled. Boundaries should be a thing. One of the things I have had to get used to as a parent is how everyone from distant family to strangers at the grocery store seem to think it is appropriate to comment on things like this, give opinions about how you should raise your children, etc. It is like people see a child and forget everything they know about boundaries and minding their business for some reason. My wife gets the worst of it. People seem to think that because they were also a mother once, all kinds of weird personal topics are inherently on the table. It is bizarre. 5 months with my second and have been asked about a third one since I announced. Wow, that is crazily quick. I thought people at least waited until they were a little older than fresh. Apparently not on my husband's side of the family. We've gotten complained to for the last almost 4 years to have another one. My oldest is barely going to be 5.